Hey everyone, welcome back to Kat's Kitchen, and today what we're doing is we're going to prepare some freezer meals for some meals down the road, and we're going to be working with the Thanksgiving leftovers that we have, and we're also going to be preparing a few different meals. So just stay tuned for this. We're going to jump right into it. I'm going to show you what we started off with this morning. So the first thing we have on the menu is our barbecued beef. So I have 2 sirloins in here. I've seasoned them and with steak seasoning, parsley, onion and garlic powder, minced garlic, Worcestershire sauce, barbecue sauce. I'm not really going to be doing a lot of the recipes for this one just because it's more of like a come along with me and hang out, and I'll show you what I'm preparing. Now, yesterday I put on these beef bones, and one in the crock pot here and then another one over here on our big pot. I just let this cook on low all night long. So what we're gonna do is make bone broth out of here, and then we're going to strain everything and can those up as well. So what we're doing right now is we're gonna make a little turkey pie for the freezer. I bought these foil pans at the dollar store. You can use glass if you'd like. I just don't have enough of these for what we're gonna be making today. So I'm just gonna start the bottom with our mashed potatoes. I just wanna make sure I leave enough for the bottom and the top to have a nice little layer. And we're just gonna smooth this out. This is one of the smaller pans I could find. This isn't a 13 by 9, it's a little bit smaller. I wanna say it's like a 9 by 8. So it's, excuse me, it's a better size for Mark and I, so that we're not, if I did 13 by 9 pans, then we would be eating this food for probably 7 days. And I'm trying to avoid that. I'm trying to give us food for maybe 3 days. Alrighty. But if you have a bigger family, you'll probably want a bigger pan. Okay, so I'm gonna start that off with our potatoes. Next I have here our beautiful turkey that Mark sliced up for me yesterday. And I'm just gonna kind of pull it apart a little bit, excuse me, and we're gonna just put some pieces in here. I've got dark meat, I've got light meat. I'm just gonna mix it all up. Really easy. This is one of my favorite things to do with Thanksgiving leftovers. And like I said, you can eat this right away if you'd like, or you can freeze it. And then when you're hungry for some Thanksgiving dinner, you can pull this back out. I'm gonna wash my hands, I'll be right back. Next, I'm gonna put some of our turkey gravy over the mashed potatoes and our turkey. And this is right out of the refrigerator from yesterday, so everything's still a little solid. But that's okay, we're just gonna, once it heats up in the oven, when we bake it, when we actually go to eat it, it'll be just fine. It'll all kind of come together. None of this stuff needs seasoned, which is really nice. It makes it a little bit faster because obviously we seasoned everything in the cooking process. So next what I'm gonna do is start with our sweet potatoes or yams. I'm just gonna sprinkle these all around. I did make some mac and cheese as well, which was really, really good. I'm not sure if I'm gonna put it in here though. I've never froze mac and cheese before. I know you can buy it in the store. I'm not really sure how that would turn out, so I'm still debating on putting that in there or not. Okay, so we've got that. Next, I'm gonna go in with our corn. Like I said, it's all going into the same place so we can use the same spoon. Or any other kind of veggie you have. There's really no science to this. I just wanted the gravy and the mashed potatoes to be together. That's why I put those 3 specifically together. And then I'm gonna start on our stuffing as well. Stuffing I'm gonna have to break apart a little bit just because it's cold. Just kind of pull the pieces of bread apart and spread them around. will also help to save space in your refrigerator, because then you're getting all of these different pans out of your refrigerator, which is always very helpful. We're also going to be taking the stock from the turkey carcass, and we're going to be taking the carcass and making bone broth out of that as well. So, and I also have a chicken carcass from the freezer. We're going to put them together and make some chicken/turkey bone broth from that as well. If I end up with a lot, I'll probably can it. If I don't, then I'll probably just make soup out of it. Okay, so we got our stuffing. Next, I'm gonna put our green bean casserole on. And then I'm gonna do another layer of corn and mashed potatoes. And I'm gonna do the gravy before I do the mashed potatoes. And then this is pretty much done. Just gonna press it down a little bit, make sure it's nice and tight. Do some more turkey if you'd like. And we're gonna call this good. Since all this stuff is already chilled, I don't have to wait for it to cool down. I can wrap it up and label it and put it right in the freezer. And then there's one nice freezer meal complete for us. When you go to bake this, if you want to, on top of your mashed potatoes, since that's going to be your last layer, you can put some of the fried onions that you put on your green bean casserole on the very top. Just adds a nice little crunch on top. Nice little texture. If you guys have never had this, definitely please give it a try, because if you like pretty much everything in the Thanksgiving dinner, you'll probably really enjoy this too. Just sprinkle that around. And then I'm going to go in again with our gravy. Now when you bake these, you're definitely going to want to bake it with a sheet pan underneath it in case anything bubbles over. That way it doesn't go into your oven and burn. Perfect. We are good to go. So now I'll just double wrap this. You can do plastic wrap and foil if you'd like, and then I'm just going to label and date this. And one of our freezer meals is completely done. All right, everybody, so now we're going to work on our marinara meat sauce. I have 4 pounds of ground beef in here, and we're just going to season this up. I do have some videos on making a single batch of marinara meat sauce, if you'd like to go check that out. Like I said, I'm really not doing too much involvement with the actual recipe for this video, just kind of showing you guys maybe some different meals you can try and freeze for some meal preparation. So we got our minced garlic in there. I'm just adding some salt and pepper next. Then we're going to do some onion and garlic powder, parsley and Italian seasoning. And I'm going to put a little bit of Worcestershire sauce in there as well. I've already wrapped up our turkey pie. I did 2 layers of plastic wrap and 2 layers of foil. And then I labeled it and put the date on there. And then I also put the cooking instructions on there in case either me or Mark opens it up, both of us will know exactly what to do. Basically, I put on there 350 cooking from thawed. It's probably going to take anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour from thawed. But if you cook it from frozen, it's going to take anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours. I want to season up this meat really good. Now you could do meatballs if you'd like. This is just what I'm doing right now because we're going to be using this meat sauce in a couple of our recipes. So with this meat sauce here, we're going to make some lasagna. I'm either going to make lasagna roll-ups, which is basically whenever you pre-cook your lasagna noodles and you season your ricotta cheese and you put that, you know, on your noodle, and then you roll it up and then you put it in your pan, and then you basically smother it in your meat marinara sauce. So we're either going to do that, or I'm just going to make a traditional lasagna. It depends on how much time I have. With the traditional lasagna, I don't have to pre-bake the noodles, but with the roll-ups you do. So it's just going to depend how much time I have here. And then we're going to make shells and ricotta with the meat sauce. So that is, once we have made our meat sauce, we're going to portion out some of that specifically for our shells and ricotta, and we're going to add the ricotta cheese to the sauce itself, and then we're just going to make some sauce or shells to go along with that. So that'll be another meal. And Mark actually says that he'd like that tonight, so that's also going to be dinner for tonight, and then we'll freeze the rest. And then the other one I have is a rigatoni chicken parm. So if I feel like making a white sauce, I'm going to do that with the rigatoni noodle. And then I may make a pesto chicken pasta as well. And I also am going to try to make some stuffed bell peppers as well. I tried looking for some banana peppers in the store yesterday, but I didn't see them, so they're probably just not in season. So now we're looking really good here. I'm going to let this brown on high. You're going to want to drain off any grease that you get. And then we'll be adding in our tomato products. Okay, so I've drained off our beef twice now. Next I'm going to add in 2 cans of some diced tomatoes. Next I'm going to add in, let's see how much. This is 2 pounds of sauce, pre-made sauce. I like to have this on hand in case I don't have time to make my own. Or when you're doing a really good food prep day like this, it's nice to have these things on hand. When these are on sale at Sam's Club, I do like to pick them up as well for a little bit of convenience. I'm just going to run a little water in there. Make sure everything comes out. Up and see if it needs any more sauce. Oh, and it looks like it does. So I'm going to go into, I'm also going to put some onions and mushrooms in here as well. I almost forgot to do that, so I'm going to chop those up really fast and put them in here. Normally I would saute them with the meat, but that's okay. We're going to still put them in, and this is going to cook down for a while. This is probably going to cook down for a few hours. And And that's another reason why I wanted to start it earlier, so that it could have the time to cook down. This is just a mushroom sauce I'm adding in right now. Alrighty. So I'm gonna go get our mushrooms and onions, and then I'll show you what our sauce is looking like. Alrighty, so in goes some white mushrooms and a half of a medium onion. I'm gonna see if we need to add in any more onion once I stir it in. You can use any kind of mushrooms you like. I just happen to have those on hand. And once again, if you remember to saute the onions and your mushrooms with the meat, it'll just bring a different flavor out within your sauce. But that's okay, because like I said, this is going to cook for a long time anyway, so I'm confident that the flavors are still going to develop for us, which is perfect. Okay, so after looking, because we have so much sauce, now we're up to here. I am going to add in the rest of that onion. So you're going to want to do about, we'll say, 1 large onion should be perfect. Okay, so now you can see everything in there. We got our tomatoes, our sauce, the mushrooms, the onion, garlic, all the seasonings and the spices. Now, I'm gonna let this cook down a little bit, and later on, if I think it needs another jar of sauce, I'll add that in later. So I'll see you guys back here in a bit. Everybody, so next we're gonna be working on our stuffed bell pepper. And I have 2 pounds of ground meat in here. We're gonna season this up. I've got some minced garlic. And then we're just gonna season it up with some onion and garlic powder, salt and pepper, a little bit of Italian seasoning, some parsley. I'm gonna give it some steak seasoning as well. To this is optional, but I forgot I'm actually going to add in some chopped spinach to this, as well as some onion. The spinach is totally optional, but I like to get some more grains in there as much as I can to make it more of like a complete meal, so that whenever we go to thaw this out and bake it in the oven, when we are deciding to eat it, all I have to really do is make a starch, so I can then make rice, potatoes, quinoa, something on the side, even like a baked potato, whatever I want, sweet potato, and then call it a day. And baked potatoes, I'm sure you've seen me make them before, but they're super, super easy. Either if you're doing white potato or sweet potato, just put them, after you wash them, put them whole in a cast iron skillet and put them in the oven for 350 for about 45 minutes. And then until you can put a knife through it, and then it's ready to go. Really super easy side dish. Okay, so now I have all of our peppers. They're all cut in halves, and I've taken all the seeds and insides out of them. I'm not worried about if there's a few seeds just because these are not hot peppers. So next I'm going to take some of our mix. And the trick to this is to kind of fill up the entire pepper. So you're going to hold it firm in your hand, and then you're just going to push with your other hand because you want it to get around all the crevices of the pepper and fill it all the way up. Fill it up like a little boat. And then once you'll hear the air come out of it too. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and fill up all of my peppers. These peppers are pretty much on the smaller side, and that's okay. And if you have any left over, you can actually make little meatballs out of these and put them in your pan. That would be nice too. Nice way to use up the meat. If we end up having a lot too, you can also, after you fill them all, you can kind of hump up the meat so it's rounded over. That would be nice too. Just know that it will take them a little bit longer to cook that way. And I did get another pan out. You'll see it up here. And I put some tomato juice in both of these in the bottom so that it's all ready for us. I got the idea from doing these freezer meals from Becky over at Acre Homestead. I recommend you go check her out. I've mentioned her before. She's really, really good. Comes up with a lot of great creative ideas for meal prepping to make our busy lives a little bit easier. So if we have an afternoon or a day where we can meal prep like this, it's going to make our lives easier in the long run. Plus, it's also something that if you have stuff coming in your garden, or if you're buying stuff that's on sale in the grocery store, you can buy a little bit more of it at that time and use it, know how to use it without wasting it, and then you'll have dinner for later on, dinner and lunches. So I do like those reasons why to meal prep. So I'm just going to keep going on this. I have a few more peppers to do, and then I'm going to pop them in our pan. You'll see me do that. And like I said, if I have any leftovers, I'll either make meatballs with them and pop them in the pan, or I'll just kind of mound up the meat on the pepper. I also have some zucchini and squash. I'm going to chop those up and spread them out throughout the peppers in our pan here. That way, whenever we go to bake this, we can have another side veggie as well that's already in our pan and ready for us. The good thing about meal prepping like this is you can kind of take what you have in your refrigerator that you know needs to be used. It's kind of like making a soup or a casserole. You can kind of use up some things that you have that need to be used before they go bad. All right, so I already dropped our pasta in for our shells that we're making. And it says the directions say to do anywhere between 10 to 12 minutes. So I'm going to make that under, since we're going to freeze it. And I'm going to make that, I'm going to call it 7 minutes, because then it's going to bake the rest of the way in the oven once we thaw it out and bake it. So next what I'm going to do is just top our stuffed peppers here with some salt, pepper, and some garlic powder. And then I'm going to top it the rest of the way with our tomato juice. There's different ways that you can make this. You can make a bechamel sauce for it. You can make a marinara sauce. Traditionally, I grew up with the tomato sauce. I'm sorry, the tomato juice. And then we would just serve it with some mashed potatoes. Like I said, the options are really endless depending on what you and your family like. all these ingredients are so versatile that you can do whatever you want. Okay, and we're gonna grab our tomato juice. And then I'm just gonna cover it with this. You can also top them with cheese if you like to. That way when you bake them, you get a nice little crust. It's totally up to you. I am not gonna do that this time. Like I said, this time around, I'm just kind of doing the basics because of time, a little bit of a time constraint today. And I'm just trying to get this stuff prepared and in the freezer. So here's 2 more dishes that we have. I've already made and wrapped up our chicken pie. You saw me do that earlier. And then now we have 2 trays of stuffed peppers, along with some squash and zucchini. Okay, everybody, now we are mixing up some ricotta cheese for 2 dishes. The first dish is going to be lasagna. The other dish is going to be basically like a pasta with our meat marinara sauce and with some ricotta cheese mixed in. If you've never tried pasta like that, definitely give it a go. It tastes really, really good. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is we have 4 8-ounce packages of our ricotta cheese. I have some Parmesan cheese here. Okay. I'm going to use 1 egg to start. We might need 2. And then I'm going to start to season. We need parsley. You want to make sure you season the ricotta really, really well because it's just quite bland and it really needs a lot of love. And then we have Italian. Salt and pepper. And then I'm going to put some garlic and onion powder. And I'm also going to add some of our minced garlic. And then, like I said, we'll see if we need to add in anything else. That timer is for our pasta. I've been cooking our pasta at 7 minutes because since it's going to be a freezer meal, I don't want our pasta to be overcooked. So really we have to undercook it now. So our rigatoni, I already have our pasta shells back here in our tray already. So we have pasta shells and then our rigatoni. And we're gonna hit this with some cool water so it can stop cooking. And then we're just gonna let it sit here for a little while. Back to our ricotta cheese. We're just adding in our onion and garlic powder now. And then don't forget your minced garlic. I am going to add in another egg to this mix. You'll be able to tell if it seems a little dry. Just give it a good mix. And then it's as simple as that. And then for my lasagna noodles, I have the oven baked lasagna noodles, so we don't need to pre-bake them. If you were gonna do the lasagna roll-ups, you would have to pre-bake your pasta. But like I said, because of time is of the essence today, we are not going to do that. I'm also thinking ahead and trying to plan lunches and dinners for this week, not just for the freezer. So I'm probably gonna have some of this pasta for Mark's lunches throughout the week. And I'm sure by, this is Saturday, I'm sure by Monday I might feel like cooking again. But I at least want a day off, so I'd like to have tomorrow off if possible. I'm gonna add a little bit more minced garlic in here and a little bit more parsley. And I'm gonna do some more black pepper. Okay, so this is how we're going to do either the shells or the rigatoni. You can do it with any pasta you want with the ricotta cheese that we just made. So I obviously have our pre-cooked shells in here for 7 minutes. The directions called for between 10 to 12 minutes, so it's definitely underdone. That's specifically, like I said, so whenever we go to bake it in the oven, it doesn't overcook. I put a few ladles of our sauce in there, and then we're just gonna take some of our ricotta cheese, and we're gonna pop that in there. Start off with a few dollops, and then I'm just gonna take a spoon, and we're just gonna mix this up. And it couldn't be simpler. And you're gonna see like this really nice creamy sauce. It's gonna almost turn into a blush sauce. Really, really nice. Super yummy, super fast, especially if you had to make this on the fly for dinner. It's a really fast meal as well. I'm gonna put in some more marinara sauce here. To make it a little more saucy, I'm going to add in some Parmesan. Alrighty. Grana Padano if you have it. Asiago. All those lovely cheeses would be great. Just let your imagination run wild. It's smelling amazing right now. Absolutely amazing. It looks like a pink alligator sauce or something like that. Super yummy. So there you go. So this is one of our dishes done. You got your meat, your pasta, you got some veggies from the sauce. All you need with this is a side salad and you have a complete meal. So we're gonna let this cool before we wrap it up. Just so you're aware, that was 1 pound of pasta. I'm trying to keep each of these trays to 1 pound of pasta. That way I know approximately how long that'll take. You know, that will serve us for the future. Because Mark and I can usually get, like I said, especially if I give that to him in his lunches throughout the week, that's perfect for us. So now I'm gonna show you how we do our lasagna. So next we're gonna put some marinara at the bottom of this tray. I believe I put it on around noon, so it's been cooking for a good 4 hours now. Next, we're gonna add our oven baked lasagna, oven ready lasagna noodles. And it looks like these are perfect to fit across this little pan that we have, which is awesome. So I got 3 going across. And then now here's where we're gonna put our ricotta cheese on. You can get so fancy with lasagna. You can use so many cheeses. You can use grated cheeses. Go wild if you want to. I mean, there's so many different ways to make lasagna. I'm just, like I said, I'm kind of doing things very, very basic this time because I'm making so many dishes. I will probably do some mozzarella on the top. But I am going to do some Parmesan in between the layers as well. And then we're going to do another sauce layer, another noodle layer, and we're just going to repeat this process all the way up to the top. And be careful because these trays are really hot once you put that sauce in there. Guys, so this is what we've made so far. We have 2 lasagnas. We have our shells with ricotta cheese, and then we have a rigatoni with just our meat sauce. I still have our 2 sirloin roasts in here, our barbecue beef. That still has a little bit to go yet. Once that's done, I'm gonna put it in our foil pan as well. And then I already made, I showed you earlier, our 2 pans of stuffed bell pepper, and then our 1 pan of our Thanksgiving leftovers, which was our turkey pie. So that'll be a great contribution to our freezer for nights that we don't feel like cooking, or if someone happens in our family or friends happens to fall sick, we can maybe run them over a nice meal. But thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.